Hello, this is going to be a basic overview of the command center geared for outdoor power equipment sites. I won't be covering every function in this overview, but I'll be covering the basics. Hopefully we'll get you enough info to be dangerous. So once you get logged into the command center, you'll be at this page here. This would be the main page or the home page of the command center. And if you ever navigate away from the home page, over in the left navigation bar, we have the dashboard button. When you click on that dashboard, it'll just bring you back to that main page or home page of the command center. Below the dashboard, we have the store section. When we click on the store tab, it'll expand. And in the store section, we have the catalog manager. And when we get to the catalog manager, it's going to default to the active tab. And when this loads, it'll list out the active brands that I have enabled on my website for the brochure catalogs. So I've got Bad Boy, Cub Cadet, and X-Mark. Well, I'm going to pull up the actual website in another tab or window here. So if I go up to the top right and click on the website link, it'll drop down and we have the preview link here. So if your website is not live, or whether it's live, you can always click on the preview link to pull up the site. So you can view the site, make changes to your website before it goes live to the public, and you can use the preview link that we send you during the design process. And if I go to the new equipment page, some people retitle that to brochures. I'll show you how to edit the navigation later on in the video. But here we can see I've got those 3 brands on my new equipment page. And if I click on Bad Boy, it'll list out the different categories I have enabled within Bad Boy. So back in the command center, in the catalog manager, in the active tab, if I click on one of these brands like Cub Cadet, it'll expand. And here it lists out the different categories or catalogs we have enabled within that brand, or Cub Cadet in this case. So I'm going to turn on the chainsaws and a few other categories here I want on my site. And I'm going to save changes. Now there's a little green status bar going across, which I don't know if you saw, but when it's done, it'll say catalogs uploaded there. And now I want to get those save changes from the command center to the website. So I'm going to go back up to that website drop down, and I'm going to publish the product keywords. That'll update the search bar, the search results within the website. And then I'm also going to publish changes, which is publishing everything else on the site, like that new equipment page. And we'll be coming back to those publish buttons a little bit later on. So when you're working with catalogs, you want to do both publish keywords and publish website changes. So now when I go back to the website, go to new equipment, click on Cub Cadet, now I've got more categories on there. So if I don't want one on, I could just uncheck the box and save, and again I would publish the keywords and changes. If I click on that Cub Cadet tab, it'll collapse. Now I can see the 3 brands. And if I go from the active tab to available, this will list out everything we have preloaded in the system. So I'm going to check the box here for simplicity on the available tab. I'm going to save changes. I'm going to wait for that catalog's updated message to populate. I'm going to go back to the active tab. We can see there's 0 enabled for simplicity. I'll click on that tab to list out the different categories, and I can check off which categories or catalogs I want to load up on the site. I could even control what years too. More often than not, you're just going to have the most current year enabled, and when the new catalogs come out, it'll rotate over to the new ones automatically. So I'm going to save on that. And now that it's updated, I'm going to publish my keywords, publish my website changes, Go back to the website here and go to that new equipment page again. And now we've got Simplicity populating. So again, that was within the store section of the catalog or the command center. Then we click on the catalog manager link once, click on the second catalog manager link, and again it brings you back to that active list. Now I'm going to move on to the product manager. The product manager allows you to search and pull up products out of the catalogs you have enabled on your website. So you're going to want to toggle to the Catalog Showcase tab here. And here it'll list out the different brands that you have enabled in the Catalog Manager for the brochures. So I'm going to check the box for Simplicity and hit Search. And it'll pull up all the models and all the categories that I have enabled for Simplicity on the results. But I want to get a little bit more specific, so I'm going to hit New Search so it goes back. I'm still on the Catalog Showcase tab, and instead of checking the box for Simplicity, I'm going to hit the blue arrow, and now it'll list out the different types or categories that I have enabled within Simplicity for the Catalog Manager, and I'm going to check the box for lawnmowers. So now when I search, I'm just going to get less results because I'm just going to pull up the lawnmowers in this case. And if there's certain models you don't want to display on the website out of the brochure catalogs, you can exclude them. To exclude those items, once you have them up on the results page, you can mark them as selected, one or multiple. Then you would click on Edit Selected Products, and it pops up a new window with the options you have to edit your selected products with. And I'm going to toggle to Exclude Products. I'm going to check the box, yes, exclude selected products from my site, save the changes, and we can see here when the results page refreshes, there's an excluded column in those two products. It now says yes. So those products have now been excluded. If I publish the changes in keywords, those two items can't be found on the website. However, they will still show up in the command center. And you can take items that have been excluded and edit and enable them to turn them back on. Let's say you want to change the price on one of these items. Take that Broadmoor and mark it as selected and edit. And I'm going to go with Set Store List Price. That would allow me to change the price from the MSRP, and I could go percentage off the MSRP, percentage above, dollar off, dollar above. You could do fixed dollar value and just type in the price we want to have listed, or we could even remove the price and set the item as call for price. So I'm going to go with dollar off. I'm going to do $300 off, and I'm going to save changes. So we can see here now on the results, our store price is less than the MSRP. We'll actually be looking at this item on the website here in a couple minutes. I'm going to take another item here on the list and mark it as selected and edit. And instead of going to a set store list price, I'm going to go with add to a sale, which is a little bit different. When we go with add to a sale, you could add items to an existing sale if you already have a sale set up. In this case, we're going to create a new sale. And with the sale, I can go $% off the MSRP. If I already changed my store price from the MSRP, I could base my sale off of that store price, or I could go with fixed dollar value. So I'm going to go with dollar off again. I'm going to go with $300 off again. But when you create a sale, you'll put in a start date. That start date could be today or a date in the future, and the sale price wouldn't kick in until that date. Then you would put in an end date, and the sale price would revert back automatically on that end date. And then when you create a sale, you have to give it a description or a title that will display on the website when you're looking at the product within a sale. So I'm going to call that ARI test sale for now. And we'll save changes. And then on the search results, I can see my sale price is set, which is different from the MSRP. So now I'm going to take those two items that we changed, the price on, the store price and the sale price. I'm going to grab a handful of other items here too on the list. I'm going to edit those selected products, and we're going to add them to a product group. We have two product groups set up by default, clearance and featured. You can add up to 50 products to a group. You can mix and match items from different brands or catalogs and add them into the same product grouping. So again, 50 items to a group. We're going to add those selected items to our featured group. These product groups don't populate on your home page until you add products to them. So before I save and publish, let me pull up the home page here. Take a quick glance. Now I'm going to save. Going to just publish the website changes. I don't need to worry about the keywords in this case. And now when I refresh on the home page, we're going to see an extra content piece get added above the welcome text. So here's my featured items group. If I had products in the clearance group, it'd be clearance and then featured, and it would push that text down even further. And I was telling you can add up to 50 items to these groups. Well, by default, it's only showing the first 4 items on the home page. If you have more than 4 in the group, this View More link will show up automatically, and it'll bring you to that group's page where it lists out all the items you have in that group. So adding items to these product groups is a good way to draw attention to products you want to promote or draw more attention to. And the first 2 items in this group are the ones I changed the price on. So this first Broadmoor here that I'm hovering over, that's the one I changed the store price on. No sale banner, no indicator here that I changed the price. And then when I click on it to get to the detail page, it has the list price with the slash through it and our price, and it's telling people how much they're saving. But when you add items to a sale, it'll add a sale banner on the thumbnail image for the product. And then when you get to the detail page, it'll have list price, sale price in red, a little larger font. It'll have your sale description on there. When you get to a week left in the sale, it'll add this line of text and it counts it down each day, and then we can see the discount value again. So the product manager, very handy tool for searching, pulling up products out of the brochure catalogs to change a price, add a price, remove a price, add to product groups, or exclude. Now I'm going to move on to the user section here in the navigation. And in the user section, this is where you could change your username and password. When you're going through the design consultation, your design consultant will send you an email with your login information, a link to the login page, your username and password. We're going to be setting you up with a basic username and password. The idea is you can change it to whatever you want when you log in on your own, so you can do that in the user section on username and password, update that username and or password. If we go to edit accounts, you could delete accounts if you need to. You can add accounts. Maybe you want to give someone else their own username and password to log in with. So you can put in that information and add. Pretty straightforward. Now I'm going to move down to the site content section where you can do a lot of page editing. So I'm going to go in under site content, click on edit pages to edit site pages, and it pulls up a page list. And from this page list, you can pull up a page like home, and it'll pull up this page detail screen. You could turn a page on or off with the active box. I wouldn't recommend turning off the home page. Well, my point is you can turn pages on and off. Or you could change the title of the page. You could even update the meta description. You could toggle from pre-optimized, which would be by default, to custom, and put in your own meta description. What I'm going to do here for the home page is click on the edit button for the primary content, and that'll bring us to the editor window where we can update the welcome paragraphs on the home page. So you can click into that editor window and start typing in text. And then on the toolbar you have some pretty standard editing options. So let's say we highlight that text, we could bold it, we could underline it, italics, we could change the font size and font color and all that good stuff. You can also work with images in this editor window. And on the toolbar we have the media browser. Pop up a new window. This would be the file browser, the library view is how I think of it. So these are images or PDFs I have uploaded in here. But I can go from the Browse tab to Upload, click on Select Files, and then I can browse to the image or images on my computer that I want to use. So I'm grabbing a random image here. I'm going to select it, hit Open. It'll go through and upload. When you see the green status bar, it means it's uploaded. Now I can go back to the Browse tab and see that image that I've uploaded. And then you can take an image from the file browser and select it, and you get some sizing options at that point. You can go with a recommended size, the original size you uploaded off your computer at, small, thumbnail versions, or you could even get more detail and go with a custom size and set the dimensions. And once you set your size, you would click on Insert Selected, and it would drop that image into the editor window. And you've got alignment buttons on the toolbar. Maybe you want something centered or right or left aligned. And with this editor window, you can preview it before you save. So if we hit preview, it'll pop up another tab or window. You might have to adjust your pop-up blockers. I had to. But if I scroll down, I can see how this page would look if I actually saved and published. But I'm not going to save. I'm just going to back out, and it'll leave that page how it was when I first found it. So again, I went in under Site Content, under Edit Pages, to edit site pages to that page list, and I clicked on Home. But I could pull up the company info page or other pages, like let's say the events page. I'm not going to use that page on my website, so I can mark it inactive and save and turn it off. If I go back to the page list, it actually tells you on the list here if pages are inactive or not. So I could go back in and turn that on if need be. Also on this page list, you can add or create new pages. So I'm going to click on Add Page. And when you're adding a page, you have to put in a title for it. We're going to title this page Videos. We also have to put in a header title. I'm going to use the same thing as the main page title. We also have to put in a page file name. That's actually what's going to show up in the address bar for that page. So I'm going to use Videos once again. You can use numbers for that, letters, dashes, underscores, but no special characters. And can't use spaces. So if you add a space, it would actually remove it for you when you go to save. So we've titled our videos page. We saved it, so it's created. Now I'm going to hit the edit button for primary content. That'll bring us to our editor window. And you can add YouTube videos or embed code for videos pretty easily here. So I'm going to pull up YouTube here quickly. Now I'm going to do a search for Simplicity Mowers. And once I pull up the video, I can go to the share link below it, click on Embed, copy that HTML code, go back to the editor, click on Insert Video on the toolbar, and paste in that code, hit Insert, and it would embed that video player right on the page. So I'm going to save that. But now we need to get that page into our navigation bar. It doesn't show up automatically. We've created the page in the system at this point. So now I'm going to move on to Edit Navigation. And that's going to pull up our navigation bar here. It's listing out all the primary pages I have in my navigation bar. but also the drop down or child pages, like how staff is showing up under company info. Let me toggle to the website. So we got our primary tabs going across, but if I hover over company info, there's drop down or child pages there. Well, I'm going to hide the child pages for a moment, so I'm going to click on hide all children. Now I'm just looking at the primary tabs going across. And if I wanted to change the order of them, I can simply do a drag and drop and save and publish. You should see that adjust here once it refreshes. But I want to add the page I created to the navigation bar, so I'm going to click on New Navigation Link. I'm going to click into the Site Page field. I'm going to start typing in the page I want to add, and if it exists, it'll show up on the drop-down palette. If I select it, it'll populate the link name. That's what's going to show up in the actual navigation bar, so you could change it here at the last second if you wanted to. I'm going to save that. I'm going to hit the Edit button to collapse on that tab, but I'm going to change it in the order. Save again. Of course, our Publish button will refresh on the site. And every now and then you're going to run into what I just ran into. You'll save a change, you'll publish. More often than not, you're going to see it right away when you go back and refresh, but every now and then it may take an extra minute or two, which isn't that long, but it's good to give you a heads up, so if you don't see it in a second, you know to wait a minute or two. So I'm going to go back. Maybe I didn't save, so I'm going to hit save again. It can't hurt to play it safe. I'm going to publish again. Let's refresh one more time. Here now we have videos. So when I click on videos, it goes to our custom page with our YouTube video on there, and we can play that video player right on the page. That way we don't have to send them over to YouTube and they get stuck watching videos all day long. Back to the command center. So again, we're in the site content section. That was edit navigation. Let's say I didn't want to add videos to the main navigation bar. I wanted it to show up under company info or another tab. So I'm going to remove it from the main navigation bar by hitting the X off to the right, hit delete. Now I'm going to click on the Add Child button for company info, go to the Site Page field, type in videos, select it on the drop-down palette, save and publish. So now we've got videos under company info. That'll bring us to structured content here in the site content section. So under structured content, there's a few pages here you can update if you're going to be using them. Not everyone uses these pages, but you get them with your website package. So you get a coupons page that you can post coupons to. People will be able to print them out and bring them in store. Good for in-store specials. You have a links page that you can post links to other websites. A good example of that would be maybe you support some local charities and you want to put a link to that website. So it would just be a page of recommended links. You also have a staff page that you could add your employees to, a galleries page that would just be for photos. You can edit your hours of operation under structured content. That's not its own page. It actually shows up as a widget on your website. We call that sidebar widgets, so we got our hours in there. And then you also have an events page that you can post events to. And these structured content items, they don't use that editor window like we saw for the home or the videos page. It's a structured approach. So if we go to coupons, let me delete what we have in there out of there and start from scratch. We have to start out by adding a group. And when you add a group, you have to enable it and put in a title for it. So you have to have at least one group. And we're going to title this group Service Coupons. And I'm going to save that. Think of a group as a title. And you can put multiple coupons within that group. I've seen it where people have one group for service coupons and they add another group for apparel and accessories and put different coupons in that group. Or maybe you're just going to have one group called coupons and lump everything together. It's up to you. So now that I have my group, I'm going to go in and edit. I'm going to click on Add Item to add a coupon. I'm going to enable it. Don't have to. Maybe I'm setting up the coupon in advance so I can put in the details and save and enable it later on. But I'm going to enable it for now. I'm going to put in a title for the coupon. We're going to call it Oil Change Special. Then I'm going to add my exemptions. That would be information like must present coupon on store, not valid with any other specials. It's not required info. You could leave it blank. Then you would put in your coupon description, the details about the coupon. You can also add an expiration date. Don't have to, but if you do, the coupon would turn off automatically on that date. So we're going to save changes. We're going to publish. I'm going to go back to the website. And, well, the coupons isn't enabled on the site, or it's not in the navigation. Well, we're going to loop back to edit navigation. Can't hurt to go over this twice. We're going to add a new navigation link, put in coupons, we'll change it in the order. So now when I get to the coupons page, it'll list out my structured coupon. So it's just taking that info I typed into those fields and structuring it. So I've got my title on there, description, exemptions, expiration date. Each coupon will have a printer icon built into it that pops up a printable version, a new window, and it adds your company name to it as well. And then end users can print that out and bring it in store. So if I go back under structured content to coupons, I can edit my group. I could add other coupons, or since I already have one in here, I can go and edit the details or delete to get rid of it. Now I'm going to move on to links. So again, you'd have to have a group. We're going to enable it. We're going to title it Recommended Links. We'll save it. And then, like coupons, we'd be adding an item to the group. But now when we add an item, it'd be a link title, the location or the address or the URL, and a description if need be. So I'll enable it. We're just going to use Google as a test on this one. I usually just pull up the website in another tab or window so I can copy and paste that address bar. It helps save time and eliminate typos because I love those. We'll add a description, not required though. And we'll save. So when we get to the links page here, well, it's not enabled. So let's go back to edit site pages to see if it's active or inactive. Looks like links is active. So let's go to edit navigation. We'll add that under company info as a child page. So we've got our title, our description, and it's got the URL, and that is set to automatically pop up a new tab or window with that website you want to link to. So you could add a whole list of recommended links. So again, site content, structured content, got a staff page, same process. You'd add a group. I already have a group titled Sales Staff. It's not active though, so it's not actually showing up, so I'm going to mark that active. Save. I'm going to go in and edit that group, and I'm going to add an item, different information, same process as the other structured items though. You can add a photo, don't have to, but you would just be browsing, uploading that image off your computer, and it's meant to be a headshot the way it structures this. So I browsed, I selected the image, I uploaded, and we'll save and publish that. So we can see for Mr. Smith, the owner, must be Joe's dad. No photo was uploaded, but we can see with Joe, photos off to the right, details are on the left, and we'll list out each person on that staff page. And again, you could have multiple groups for staff. Maybe you want to have a group for each department, or you could have a group for each location if you have multiple locations. The galleries page would be the same process. You'd have a group, think of a group as an album. So you could have a group for store pictures, a group for customer pictures. Maybe they come in and buy a new riding mower. You want to take a picture next to them with it, add it to your website. So when we add a group, again, we're going to enable it. We're going to title it test group in this case. We're going to save. Then you would click on add item, and it pulls up the file browser. So you could select images that are in that file browser, or go and upload other images. I'll grab a few random ones here. Don't have any good ones to use in this case, but I think you get the idea. I'm going to use multiple, so I'm going to hold down my control button as I click on these to select them. It's going to go through and upload each one here. It may take a moment, but it goes fairly quickly. Now I can go back to the browse or the library view and select one or multiple to add. Click on choose selected images. It'll populate those. Then if I wanted to, I could go in and edit and change the title and description. Save that. So now when we get to the gallery page, photos will be organized in a nice gallery style format. It would put your image title below the image and your description as well. Then you can arrow through to check out the photos or go off of the thumbnail list down below. You also have your hours and structured content, pretty basic. You can go in and edit. Most likely we're already going to have this in there for you. We can see we have an item for Monday through Friday, an item for Saturday and Sunday, and each item will have the opening and closing time in there. So that's what is displaying in that widget. Events, same process. Add a group. I usually title it events or upcoming events. And then you'd be able to add your item for the individual event. We're going to call it open house. We're going to put in the start time field. You can use this for the date, time, or both. Then you have an editor window to add whatever information you want to add for that event. So it could be text. Could be an image or a video or both. We'll pull up the file browser. We'll throw an image in there. We'll save that. And then this is probably not in the navigation bar either, so we'll go back to edit navigation. We'll add another child page to company info for events. I don't want that to be events list in the navigation. I just want it to say events, so we'll change that link name, and then we'll save that. And then with the events page, it'll just list out the title that you entered and whatever you put in the start time field. And then when you click on the title for the event, it will go to another page with the information that you add to the editor window. Another important piece in the site content section is the service manager. So if we click on that, we can get to configure available services. It'll list out the services here that I have enabled on the website. So each one listed out here will show up under services in the navigation on the site. If I didn't want one on, I could hit the X and remove it or delete it. Actually, it removes from the list pretty quickly there. And then if we want to add other services, we can click on Create New Service, put in a title for it. You could even add a price. Don't have to, it's not required. You could choose an icon for that service. We do have preloaded ones you can choose from, or you could upload and add your own. You would browse and upload off your computer. Then you have your editor window to add your information for that specific service. Now with the services, it'll add it to the navigation bar automatically, which is nice. Of course, your information will be better than mine. Back to the command center. If we go here under site content, under configuration to location information, this will default to the locations page where you could have one or multiple locations enabled. If you have multiple locations, it would list them out here with an edit button for each one. And then when you go ahead and edit your location, it defaults to the details tab where it would have your company name, street address, and phone numbers that display in a couple areas on your website. One would be down at the bottom or the footer of the website. And then also if you go to the Contact Us page. And then if we go from the Details tab on the location information to Sales and Lead Management, this is where you can plug in what email address the notifications go to when people fill out forms on the website. So if they fill out a finance form or a quote request form or a Contact Us form, you would get an email notification. So you have to have an email address in the primary field. You can only have one in there, but you can add multiple emails to the CC or the carbon copy email addresses field. If you have to put in multiple, you would just be separating with a semicolon like the little example shows you there. And in addition to that email that goes out to you, if we go into the leads and orders section of the navigation, we can then jump into contact, quote, or the different types of leads here. I'm going to go to quote requests. And here's a test one that I filled out. It's just the basic details. And off to the right, there's view and print buttons. If we hit the view button, it'll pull up the details. So you can see what unit was being looked at when someone filled out a quote request form. When they fill them out, they can put in their purchase time frame. They don't have to, but they could change that from, immediate to a week to a month. And there's other options. You can see my name, email address on there, phone number. People can also tell you how they found your website when they're filling out forms. Don't have to, but it's nice if they do. And they could say like word of mouth, billboard, TV, search engines, and a few other options. If you put any comments or messages, you would see that as well. And these leads come in under a status of new. And you could update that status to help you track and know where everything's at. So you could change that from new to in progress. You could add yourself reminder notes on what you did or need to do for follow-up. Save it. Come in later when you're done and change it to complete. If you end up making a sale from that lead, you might want to add a note that you did so. Then you could track and see how many of these leads converted to sales, and maybe that'll help you out with a better idea of the return on your investment with the website. That's going to bring us to the promotion section in the navigation bar. And within the promotion section, we have factory promotions. And there's going to be a factory promotions on your website. And this promotions page will update automatically for you. So if you have brands enabled in that catalog manager, and when those brands are running those national rebates and promotions, we get the data for those. So we'll turn those promotions on automatically when the time comes, and then we'll turn them off automatically when the time comes too. but we need to give the customers the ability to exclude or turn off these promotions in case you're not taking part. So that's what this factory promotions tool is for. And if we click on edit promotions, it'll list out the promotions that are currently running, and if you didn't want it on, you would just have to check the exclude box off to the right. So you'd only be using this tool to exclude the promotions you don't want on. Alright, integrations. Well, for now, I'm going to let you know this. This is where you can go and update your microfiche. I'm not going to be getting into details with that in this video. This is going to have its own separate video so you can get to the OEM parts lookup editor and update the pricing on OEM parts on your website. And you'd be able to upload a pricing file, a CSV file to update pricing. You could set up a matrix and go a certain percentage, above cost or even below MSRP, or you could even edit to single part number. So there is going to be a separate video just for the OEM parts. Other than that, integrations, you won't have to get into it. The Surf Watcher is a reporting tool that you have in the command center. It defaults to the month to date, but you could change it to the week or to the year. You could even put in your own custom range or date range if you want to. And it always defaults to the breakdown tab. So, and no matter which tab you go to, it's always going to list out how many unique visitors and how many total pages they're viewing. But on the breakdown tab, you would also get an idea of how people are getting to your website. So direct URL would mean how many people got there by typing in your website address, going off their favorites or a bookmark, even an email with a link to the website. You'd also be able to see how many people are getting to your website through search engines, or if they're linking over from other websites, maybe a manufacturer site that is a dealer locator, you'll see the top 5 referring domains or websites and how much traffic those are pushing over. Then you get some other nice stats like visitor breakdown, how many people were new visitors or people with 1 visitor, how many people are frequent visitors, people with 5+ visits. You can also see the top 10 pages getting viewed, so it'll list out the top pages. You can also see what search terms people are using to get to your website. So it actually lists out what they're typing in as search keywords through their search engine. So the Surf Watcher, again, is a basic reporting tool. Then we have the Sitemap tab. It's not a sitemap for your actual website. It's a sitemap for the command center. So it's listing out each section in the navigation here and each function within it. So it's just another way to get to the different functions in the command center from one page. And then you have the documentation tab. Pops up another tab or window. It's a whole nother website for help documents. So in here you can search for topics like we'll type in events here and how do I edit my events. Or you can go off of the topic list and get to stuff that way too. And when you pull up these how-to guides, it'll have screenshots and text to walk you through the steps. So pretty handy resource with the help documentation. That'll bring us back to the main page. So we've been focusing on this left navigation bar for the most part, but on the main page we have the recently viewed section. That'll actually update and change as you're clicking around. It'll list out the recently viewed or recently used functions you were just at. So it's a quick way to get right back to stuff you were doing. The quick links section, these are in theory some of the more frequently used functions in the editor. So we got a quick link to go in and edit the home page. That'll bring us to the page details screen we looked at earlier from site content, going under edit site pages, clicking on home. But again, we can go in and edit the primary content to edit those welcome paragraphs, important for search engine results. Another quick link that I haven't touched on yet would be manage merchandising slides. That'll bring you to the offer queue, and the offer queue is listing out the slides that I currently have on my website, and they would be scrolling through on the home page here. People can manually scroll through, but it does auto scroll. So we usually put 3 in there to get you started. If you don't want to slide on your site, you can mark or uncheck the box here in the queue, hit save, and it would remove it. And then if you want to add slides, you could go and look at our pre-designed library or click on pre-designed offer. Pops up a new window. It defaults to the brand tab. Then if we go to the offer groups tab, it'll have brands on here too, but stuff for holidays and other categories as well. And when you click into these categories, it'll list out the different slides that we have. And if you want to add a slide, you would click on add to offer queue, and it'll give you a timeline option. So you could have it run indefinitely, or you could uncheck that run indefinitely box and put in a date range. So it stays pretty snowy here in Minnesota, so I'm going to run that till the end of March, and I'll save that. And when I go back to the queue, I can see I have 3. Really, you could have as many slides as you want going through there. You could have 100, but of course you're going to want to find a happy medium. Most sites that I see usually have around 3 to 10 slides going through there. Another quick link that'll be very important would be manage unit inventory. A lot of folks will use this for their pre-owned or used equipment, but you could use it for new or new non-currents if you want. And when we get to manage unit inventory, you can see here it lists out the units I already have uploaded. And each one has an edit button off to the right to go in and change the details, or if I needed to remove one or multiple items on the list, I can mark them as selected here, and there's a delete